In a world that is constantly trying to control our narrative, tell your truth and your story by starting your own podcast. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It gives you everything you need in one place for the free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. The creation tool allows you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great, and they'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and even Google Podcasts for the Androids. You can easily make money with no minimum listenership. Please make sure that you check out anchor.fm or download the Anchor app to get started. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You mean to tell me it's been 400 years since what is known as black slavery in this country started, and all I done heard about is some funky ass sandwiches from Popeyes? Cousins! Welcome back to another episode of Freedom, a literary podcast hosted by none other than your favorite black ass cousin, Monica Makita. This podcast dives into everything that is the black experience. We talk about all of the nuances and, of course, all of the popular topics from the week. Black literacy and comprehension rates are at an all-time low right now. The importance of literature is something that we stress here. So each week we'll go through the topics. We have a segment where we pack light and unpack a taboo topic within the Black community. And we finish off each episode with reading a good old article, book, or something to just help further that initiative. This week, I have so much to dive into, but of course, before we get started, have to give all praises to the Most High, the universe that surrounds us, as well as the ancestors that came before us. I hope everybody had an amazing week. I personally just got back from a family vacation. We did the whole like Orlando thing, and we did Disney and all of that. It was like 30 of us, y'all. We had the t-shirts. Like, yes, we were that family, and it was so much fun. I am still exhausted, but it was so worth it. And before we dive into anything, of course, we have to shout out the Black Business of the Week. The Black Business Professional of the Week is NMayers, an expert mortgage loan originator. Have you ever considered purchasing a home but saw that large ticket number of like $300,000 and was like, oh no, I don't even have a coin for that? Well, most people don't know that if you just allow someone to run the numbers for you, you actually can afford to purchase a home. Or if you already own your home, have you thought about refinancing? If so, you can have him crunch those numbers and see what that would look like and what you could do for a cash out refinance. The average interest rate of most credit cards is between 12 to 26%. You can easily refinance that debt, and I've personally seen him save clients $300 to $700 per month. You can drop that 17% interest rate to like 4 and use that coin for all the things that you actually want to do, like start a business, family vacations, or college tuition. Just think about that. $400 over 3 years is over $14,000. And that's just with refinancing your home. As a community, we need to start thinking more long term over the short term. And it's important to make sure that you're working with a Black professional like NMayers so that when you are navigating through that very lengthy process of purchasing a home or refinancing it, you have someone who not only is an expert, knowledgeable, and knows all that we as a community don't know, but he can break it down for you so you're not just blindly signing into something. I'm telling you, y'all, he is the truth. Make sure that you link with him now. NMayers. He can be reached at NMayers. That's NMayers at jgw.com. Or you can actually just text him as well if you have some questions and just let him get your information so you can go through the process of seeing what you qualify for. 571-310 2821. I'll make sure to put that information in the info of this podcast as well. So make sure that you check him out. Again, it is NMayers. He is an expert mortgage loan originator, and he can actually crunch your numbers without actually running your credit. So it doesn't hurt to just see what is up, y'all. Like, check it out. Make sure you link with him. That is NMayers, an expert mortgage loan originator, and he is the Black Professional of the Week. We hop into all of the hot topics of the week in a segment that we call Word on the Street. This week, Jay-Z has set the world ablaze, honey. I have seen all these headlines about this entire thing with this deal that he made with the NFL. And personally, I know that the sports world is showing out right now. It's so much sports tea. I won't even go into all of that with Jay-Z. All I will say is that here at Conscious Kingdom and the Freedom Podcast, we absolutely still stand with Cap. We are taking a knee, so fully supporting Colin Kaepernick. At the end of the day, Kaepernick has been denied work in the NFL for a total of 905 days at this point. And an article came out recently that literally broke it down that he is better than over 10 quarterbacks that are currently playing in the league. Like I said, I won't dive into everything with Jay-Z, but just listen to Uncle Shannon Sharp because that is exactly how I feel about this entire thing. And if we ever needed a reminder of why Kaepernick is kneeling in the first place, of why Kaepernick is literally risking his livelihood and his professional career, it's to speak on the injustices. Think of the families of Sandra Bland, the parents of Mike Brown and Tamir Rice, and also the parents of the 14-year-old Andrew Joseph, who after being in police custody 5 years ago didn't make it home because he was arrested and detained for something he had nothing to do with, and then was just let out at a busy intersection and ended up not making it home to his parents. If we need a reminder of why Kaepernick is kneeling and why these injustices keep happening to the lives of black and brown people, just take a listen to the father of the late 14-year-old Andrew Joseph. Woo, child. Okay, now that I've gotten out of my feelings and I finished crying, let's get into a little bit of black excellence that happened this week. According to the NCAA, roughly 6% of collegiate golfers are black, Latino, or indigenous or Native American. And that's despite the influence that Tiger Woods had on the overall sport. People just aren't doing it. Like, we as black people, y'all know, we don't golf. It just never really translated to a significant increase in the numbers of black folks who play that game. That hopefully will change now with this new collaboration that was announced on Monday with Howard University and Mr. 3 Point himself, Steph Curry with the shot. Steph has committed to help funding the golf program at Howard for at least 6 years, starting with the 2020 and 2021 season. Golf has long been difficult to access by black people and communities of color. It's more common that we are cleaning those country clubs that house the golf course than to actually be playing there for a hobby or leisure. Those same country clubs are usually still implementing segregation, and regardless of our socioeconomic status, wouldn't even allow our black asses membership anyway. But despite all of that, it is a major deal that we are implementing this golf thing at the HBCU that is Howard University. We constantly face barriers in diving into those type of sports because, for one, we can't afford it, and two, it's just not something that we see in our community. Think about it. I have I know white people who their uncles and dads and older brothers play golf every weekend. My older brother and my uncles ain't doing that. They might be drinking a beer, but they ain't holding no. They ain't about to be playing no golf. So it's important that now that we have that representation, we have that access, and that's a new height, a new level, a new goal that we can reach for, our kids can get golf scholarships to a HBCU. Like that right there is opening the door for so much accessibility for the Black community, and it's so dope. I'm gonna definitely have to get into my golf thing because I ain't never did nothing more than putt putt. But and I was actually a little okay. I wasn't good. I was okay. But this is dope. This means the future generations, my future kids, my nieces and nephews, you never know. They might be playing golf. I love it. More Black excellence in the sports world is Mr. Straightbacks himself. Thanks to Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers, and the nonprofit Baby to Baby, every single student in the Moreno Valley Unified, Inglewood Unified, and Los Angeles Unified School Districts will receive a new book bag to kickstart their new school year. This generous donation is the largest in the history of the Los Angeles Unified School District. It is so dope. Thank you to Kawhi. That is a really good look, and I'm hoping that it encourages more athletes to do more of these things. And to be honest, you never know if they are already doing it. And if they are, I hope that the media starts to cover more of these things because that's major for every single student to get that. And that's one less thing that they have to worry about. It's just giving them a step forward in their educational pursuits. So big up to Kawhi and his wonderful straight backs. That's a really good look. And keeping in Black excellence, we have to shout out none other than Missy Elliot. Ooh, I'm sorry, excuse me, Dr. Melissa Missy Elliott. She's not only dropping new music, well, she dropped it today, gave it a listen, it's already dope. She's also receiving the Video Vanguard Award. She is the first Black rapper to do that at the Video Music Awards, which will be on Monday. She was entered into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. She will also be opening the Museum of Missy Elliott in New York, August 24th and 25th. When I tell y'all this legend is getting every single flower she deserves, and I love it. For me personally, I've always been a Missy fan. As a dancer, Missy was always our go-to. I can't tell you how many times I have choreographed hip hop pieces, pieces for the talent show, pieces I performed on stages, pieces I won awards for, where Missy was a part of it. If it wasn't her music, it was her style. If it wasn't her style, it was a song that she wrote and produced for someone else. Like Missy is dope, and she's from Virginia, so it's all up for her. And it's also so important to recognize the greatness of her and how revolutionary she is for Black women. A writer, producer, fashion icon for over 2 decades. And I love it too because an entire new generation of young Black boys and girls will learn that the visuals of the artists that they love now were all inspired by the artistry of a dark-skinned Black woman from little old Virginia who redefined music, culture, and what it meant to be sexy as a Black woman. This woman wrote an entire song about masturbation and had everybody singing it. I know y'all were singing Tweet song. Oops, oh my. It's still in my rotation. I am so excited for everything that Missy is going to bless us with. Make sure you check out her new video, Throwback. It's so dope. Sis is killing the visuals per usual. The song is dope. And make sure you follow Conscious Kingdom on Twitter because we will be live tweeting the Video Music Awards. Don't usually watch, but if Missy is going to be there, I'm tuning in. So live tweet with us. Follow us at Conscious Kingdom so you can keep up to date with all the crazy things that we're going to have to say while watching the show. Congrats to the legend, Missy Elliott. Y'all have run me ragged with this funky ass Popeyes sandwich. I am sick of hearing about it. So I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm honestly going to talk about all of the posts that are coming from people posting about the damn sandwich. Don't tell me I should support my friends like I support the Popeyes chicken sandwiches. For one, even as a Black business owner, I'm one person. Why do we count on our friends to make us millionaires? Strangers make you millionaires. If you're only selling to your family, your business is gonna stay, it's gonna stay a small business, if that. I'm just being honest. I do not expect my friends to post my business every day or be my marketing team. However, I am very, very grateful for the love and constant support that I do receive, but that isn't my target market, nor is that who makes me the most money from my business. As a business owner, it's my job to present dope products and have the right marketing strategy to blow my business up. I can't like shame people into shopping with me. Y'all, we gotta pipe down with that foolishness. Seriously. I support my friends and fellow business owners, but I hope and I know that my friends understand that at the end of the day, they have to do their own due diligence to build their business successfully, like I did with my own. Your friends are supposed to be your friends. Your family's supposed to be your family. They are not your staff. Your friends support you and you still haven't blown up. Because that's not going to lead to this major success if all you're selling to is a small circle of people that you know. Stop exhausting your friends. Stop guilting them. Listen, run ads, build up some dope media and content for your stuff. Get a PR plan, get a marketing plan to get that exposure. Work hard, make the connections. I tell you, I network my ass off. Anywhere that I'm at, I either have on something that I made or that is from my brand, or I am handing out business cards everywhere. And I'm 9 times out of 10 talking to complete strangers. 9 times out of 10, those strangers are buying from my brand. Stop running your friends ragged and exhausting them to share your stuff all the time. Because the thing is this, we constantly see people selling dinners or selling clothes and all of that. And the people that rock with you are rocking with you. So stop with these negative posts about, well, you should do this the way you doing this Popeye sandwich. Y'all, let black people just live. We can never just do anything without criticism. This victim mentality has no place in a business. We are responsible for our dream. Any support is a welcome bonus. It's not mandatory. I love that my people rock head wraps because they weren't doing that before me selling them. I am grateful for it. I'm not them being like, "Oh, well y'all not posting my earrings." It's ridiculous. Most people that you are shaming for not supporting you don't even have the money to support you at times. Or they're just not your target market and they're not looking for what you're selling. And that is perfectly okay. It's okay. We got to stop speaking from privilege. If you own a business, you might have a little extra income. They might not have the extra 30 to buy a shirt this week. Let people live. Like I said, find your target audience and hit them with a product that is so dope that they would feel like a fool to not buy it, even if it's not their style. Like I said, I got people wearing hair wraps who don't even know how to tie them. They buy them from me and I have to tie it for them. And I love to do that. But I'm not going to then shame them for not buying more things. It's ridiculous. Be grateful. Stop speaking from a place of privilege and just let people enjoy. Let people do the things. Let them enjoy what they want to enjoy. Just let people live. The more grateful you are, the more abundance that you have. Stop shaming people into being your customers. People have whole ass households to support with kids, and it's back to school time. It's not always personal or that they're hating on you. Just stop shaming people and let them eat their funky ass Popeye sandwiches. I'm going to Chick-fil-A. This week, I want to speak on the importance of Black families taking vacations. It is so important for you not only to share those memories, but the mental release that you receive from just getting away from your everyday routine and just getting the chance to just release, take a deep inhale, exhale, and just enjoy yourself. Like I stated at the beginning of this episode, my family and I just came back from a trip to Florida, and it was amazing. The weather was amazing, and it was about 30 of us there, all of my nieces and nephews, my sisters and brothers, and it was such that community feel. We're all so caught up in our lives that we might not get the chance to talk every day, and you might not be able to make it to every softball game and baseball game or dance recital or birthday party or cookout. So to just take time to pause life and just surround yourself in nothing but love, it's amazing. And it's something that every Black family needs to do. And I know it may sound like I'm speaking from a privileged standpoint, but I just want us to get out of that mindset of that things aren't obtainable for us, or like it's something that we can't do. White families vacation 3-4 times a year. I'm encouraging all Black families to at least do a weekend together. If you need help, just save. Or, like I said earlier, talk to a Black professional like a mortgage loan originator, like NMayers, who can break down some numbers so you can pull money from your home. Or there are other avenues, but we have to just start existing. We have to start living as Black people and enjoy the time that we have with family. Family is the quintessential essence of what life is all about. That connection, that genuine unconditional love, it's what it's all about. And even if you didn't come from a family that has that closeness, you can break that generational curse. Even if it's not with your mother or father, reach out to your siblings, build a relationship. If not your siblings, if it's toxic, hey, cousins, aunts, I mean anyone that you have a lineage to, build that rapport and build that relationship and create those memories. It is so worth it. And not only that, especially for me, being one of the youngest and one of the family members that does not have children yet, so I play like the cool auntie role. Just being able to be around the youth that are in your family, and you can share your dopeness with them, so they get influenced by not only their parents, but they learn some cool things from you, like teaching your nephew the right way to brush his hair, or just dancing with your nieces and doing the whoa and singing Old Town Road, like, oh, and Baby Shark as well. It's so worth it because you are building lifelong memories. These are things they're going to look back and be like, auntie, you remember that time when? Think about your own childhood and the things that you reference back to, the fun times that you had with your cousins, and all of that helps shape you as a child. And now that you look back on as an adult, and think about how much it means to you, it will mean the same for your children and for your family. It is so necessary. And even outside of that, it's so much fun to look back on the great times you did have with your childhood family, who's also your friend, honestly, to now experience even new things with them as an adult. It's an entirely different level of bonding. Y'all have different things you can discuss. You can encourage each other. You can bounce ideas off of each other. And outside of that, you can have great laughs, spades tournaments, dance contests. I mean, anything just to bask in that lighthearted fun with your family. It is so necessary. And I encourage you all to start that process now. Start saving now, start planning now, even if it's just a small road trip where you all go and just stay a couple hours from where you live. It is so worth it. Black families are essential, and it's time for us to rebuild that rapport and that love that we had back in the day. Yes, so let's get into the last segment of the show, Freedom, where, like I said in the beginning, we dive into a good article, a good book, and just really thrive in literacy. So it has been exactly 400 years, 1619 to 2019, to the first documented slaves being brought to what is now the United States. And I wanted to just read an article about this because it really dawned on me. Why isn't this date in any history books? We have every other date commemorated. We got stupid ass Columbus Day, which isn't even real. We got all this foolishness, Flag Day. I mean, it's so much. But why isn't this date even recognized or remembered. So I wanted to get into an article about it and just provide more information because, like I said, all I've been hearing about is these funky ass Popeye sandwiches. I didn't really hear anybody talk about this, and the date actually passed on. The exact date was August 20th, 1619. So let's dive into this article that was written by Elizabeth DeGenis. Sorry if I'm saying her name wrong. All right. July 4th, 1776. December 7th, 1941. August 20th, 1619. The date of the Declaration of Independence. The date of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. The date of ... question mark. We all learned the first two. Too few of us know the third, which was the day the first enslaved blacks arrived in America. Dates matter, and how we interpret them and teach them to ourselves and our children influences who we are as Americans and who we will become. 400 years ago this week, black slavery began in what would become the United States. A ship called the White Lion arrived off what is now Fort Monroe in Virginia, carrying 20 people kidnapped in West Central Africa and traded for food in the New World. The transatlantic slave trade had begun. The event was recorded by Jamestown's John Rolfe in a 1619 letter to the Royal Virginia Company. Quote, "Not anything but 20, and odd Negroes, which the governor and Cape Marchant bought for victuals." That same Rolfe had married Pocahontas 5 years earlier. Rape, incest, molestation. Anyway, we all know her name, but not those of Antony, Isabella, William, Angela, Anthony, Francis, Margaret, Anthony, John, Edward, Anthony, which were among the new names given to the slaves who were forced to leave behind their identities, even their birth names. This all happened more than a year before the Mayflower sailed for Cape Cod. Slavery would be more than 150 years old before America declared its independence from Britain, and the infamous Middle Passage crossed both old and new worlds. A civil war would be fought over slavery, and it wasn't abolished until the passage of the 13th Amendment. And, side note, we know it wasn't technically instituted until Juneteenth, but I'll keep going. Jim Crow laws and overt discrimination meant that black Americans didn't gain full legal rights until the passage of the Voting Rights and Civil Rights Acts of the mid-1960s. Many Americans will point out that neither they nor their ancestors owned slaves. America is, after all, a nation of immigrants, and so many millions of us arrived long after slavery was abolished. So while slavery is a stain on the country, it is past and they played no part in it. But the history of America is the history of all of us, not just the history of our particular families. And the legacy of slavery lingers. Modern scholarship shows that slavery was not an aberration of the South, but an economic engine for the entire country, North as well as South. In fact, by 1860, the domestic slave trade had made human property one of the most prominent forms of investment in the country, second only to land, according to the historian Stephen Dale. Slavery enriched northern banks and textile mills, as well as southern plantations. In other words, slavery influenced who we are even now. Its legacy gave some of us opportunities and denied them to others. Its effects run down to the current day in cities and schools that can still be largely segregated in practice, if no longer by law, and in making race such a key element of our times, both in culture and politics. In these pages, columnist Leonard Pitts recently wrote about a white man who was tired of constantly reading about race. Pitts responded that he should imagine living it, that to be an African American is to be perpetually exhausted by race. It is to be worn, wasted, spent, and drained from the daily need to prove and defend your own humanity. Right now, in this fraught time in America, it can be tempting to label someone a racist, but doing so requires getting inside a person's head to know his inner thoughts, and who can do that, right? It's better for us to reflect on our shared history and how it reverberates through America to this day, to pay homage, respect, and honor those who have a disenfranchised life, to learn what we don't know and to see others' perspectives, and to add a new chastening date to our calendar, August 20th, 1619. So I definitely wanted to dive into that article because, again, there are so many things that we are taught that we need to unlearn. For years, we've always been told, even in our school curriculums, that, the North didn't want anything to do with slavery and it was all the South. And that's why racism is so prevalent in the South. And it's like like, this whole tangent about that, when it's pretty evident that regardless of if you lived in the North or the South, everyone in this country has profited and benefited from the sacrifice and the torture endured by our Black ancestors. And not saying we need to celebrate the day that is August 20th, that happened in 1619, but to completely disregard it is something that is just a travesty and disrespectful to our ancestors and our entire Black lineage. Like the article stated, we were kidnapped. Our ancestors were kidnapped to come here. Even though some textbooks are trying to rewrite slavery to reflect more of like being indentured servants, that is not the luxury that we had. And I think the more that we ignore these important dates and this information, it's just a constant whitewash of our true history. I think that we have to know where we came from to know where we're going, and to completely ignore that entire time that was slavery and all of the ramifications that happened after that, and everything that is still affecting us right now in 2019, 1619 to 2019. It all matters and it all needs to be acknowledged, and it can't be whitewashed. I wanted to just point that out. It personally broke my heart because even while on vacation, I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anyone even much so post about August 20th and like what that means. I didn't see anyone giving any praise to our ancestors or giving any, just being grateful and humble, and none of it. It just wasn't there. I did come across something that they're doing in Hampton as like a concert for awareness and just to speak more on like injustices and racism that is here still prevalent today. But I really do truly want us to do more. Our children need to know what happened August 20th so they aren't growing up thinking that, oh no, Black people came here because they wanted to come and see what America was like. Like, we have to make sure our history is not whitewashed and that we know our narrative to be able to speak our narrative. Because if we don't, they'll create it for us and completely wipe out all of the disgusting things that they've done. Thank you so much for tuning in and always rocking with us here at the Freedom Podcast, and for all of the constant outpouring support and love that you send to Conscious Kingdom each and every day. Make sure that you are following us at Conscious Kingdom. Make sure that you shop online, shopconsciouskingdom.com. Be on the lookout for all of the new things that we have coming in for fall. And like I stated, make sure you're following our Twitter as well at Conscious Kingdom. We will be live tweeting on Monday for the Video Music Awards because they're honoring Missy, as well as make sure you like our YouTube because we will be doing some episode recaps and all of that, because the most amazing show that ever existed is coming back on Sunday, which is Power. So make sure that you are like chiming in on the conversation. I definitely want to know what you think, what your expectations are. And if you're interested in being featured in the show as the Black Business of the Week, or you have something that you would like for us to discuss, or if you'd like some advice, make sure that you email us at freedompodcast@gmail.com. As always, I'm sending you love, light, and peace for the rest of your week and a great weekend. Live life conscious. Think about who you are and what you want to be in this world. You define who you are. You can create the life that you desire. Everything that you need, it is already within you. And please remember, the purpose that you've been given, the thing that you can't stop thinking about, the thing that motivates you to keep going, you were given that because you're strong enough to not only survive in it, but thrive in it. So be happy, be grateful. Do not let life overwhelm you. And always remember to just take a moment and process things. Unplug, disconnect, take your earbuds out, and just release. I know as Black people, we're not granted that space often, but it's something that we have to create for ourselves. It is so necessary. So make sure that each week, each day, you are taking time to love on you because I love you. So thank you for tuning in, and make sure that you check us out next week when we drop our next podcast. This is the Freedom Podcast, a literary podcast. Signing out. Peace.